Hi, my name is Sylvia Blanco,
My name is John.
and we're going to be talking about freedom and our personal definitions of it. So my personal definition of freedom, it's having the ability to make choices, right? And to take actions without many unnecessary restrictions or any other constraints from people. It means having the ability to direct your own path and make choices that align with your beliefs and your own priorities. So some choices that I value are deciding what to do in my personal life or time, manage my personal goals, my education and cheerleading. It's having the ability to manage these responsibilities and how I want to pursue them on my own terms. It's something that helps me stay motivated and that aligns with something that I deeply care about.
That's a good definition. I have a similar definition in the sense that it's to be able to express yourself freely without restrictions. For example, having the ability to listen to whatever music you like, dress however you like, and admire whatever art you like. For example, to me, the music genres where they're able to express themselves through whatever the world problems, they could talk about it and they don't have to restrict themselves because we live in a free society. And it really is to show the world who you are without any sort of restrictions.
Thank you.
To add on to Joan's idea, what I find most important for me is to do what I want to do without any restrictions. That is what I define as freedom. For example, I wear the clothes I want to express myself or practice whatever religion I want to without any consequences for it. One example is in my elementary school, my first one I went to, we had to wear a uniform so everyone looked the same. But when I switched elementary schools, there was no dress code, so you could wear what you want really by expressing yourself, and everyone looked different. And then a study I found by researchers at Arizona State University was that students that without uniforms reported higher self-perception than students with uniforms. And that's how self-perception is kind of important to you as a person. And that's what I define as freedom.
I agree with you, Christian, because I feel like a part of my experience is being able to do my makeup. When I do my makeup, I just feel I have the individuality to look the way I want, and when I do that, it builds up my confidence. So when it builds up my confidence, I don't know, I just feel better about myself. And then I know, because in some places you're not allowed to wear makeup, and I think it's crazy because it's not affecting anyone, so it's why even do that? But a study from National Library of Medicine states that the makeup enhances a woman's social interactions and performance, found a positive correlation between makeup usage and self-presentation and self-consciousness. So it creates a positive image for myself, making a sense that I can control how I look and self-expression. So having the freedom of expressing yourself is what makes you, you.
My name is Antonio Gamboa.
My name is Ari Venta.
And today we'll be talking about freedom. My definition of freedom is similar in a couple of ways to what Christian was talking about earlier. Freedom is not to be afraid about anything. It's taking your own actions. It's saying you could do what you want. You're not afraid of what something's gonna happen. This is you. This is your personal thing. You're taking action. For example, let's say you're robbing a bank. You don't care what you're doing. This is you. You're gonna take that money. You're gonna do what you want. This might be a bad example, but that's just what freedom is. It's just you doing what you want. You're deciding what to do, day to day. Waking up, you decide to get up and get out of bed. That's freedom.
I agree with you, but also freedom can be the right to be whoever you want, from being able to choose if you're a teacher or if you want to be loud and independent. It's also being able to be comfortable with who you are and what you want to be. If you want to be able to express yourself by the way you talk to others, as long as it's not harming or altering other people's freedom, then you're good. And I believe that if you want to say, I don't know, wear a hoodie one day when it's hot, that's your freedom to be able to do so. And it's also if I wanted to be a teacher, but my teacher said that I'd be a really good nurse. It's the freedom to be able to be whatever you want, as long as you respect yourself and others.
This quote by Decanawida from the Iroquois Constitution is very interesting. It states, "Look and listen for the welfare of the people, and have always in view not only the present but also the coming generations, even those whose faces are yet beneath the surface of the ground, the unborn of the future generation." This makes me wonder about freedom today. Why is the ability to make one's own choices such a fundamental part of human life?
Well, that's a good question. Well, after reading an article on Procon by Tara Law, I found out why we value freedom so much. In 2019, Congress barely changed the law that would sort of ban religious headwear for Congress. And this quote really shows how there's certain restrictions and how it's important for us to be able to express ourselves, to see who we truly are, our values, our beliefs, and what's important to us. Without that freedom, we're sort of restricted and we can't express what is going on in our lives. In the quote from the Bill of Rights, Congress shall make no law respecting. In the quote from the Bill of Rights, Congress shall not make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise therefore. In that quote, do you think it impacts social media restrictions and like freedom of speech?
Yeah, I think it does impact it because there's like thing called cancel culture, and like cancel culture is like when people don't agree with one person's opinion, they just stop like supporting them and this just because of one opinion. So I found a quote by Stephen Mintz. He's a professor at California Polytechnic State University, and he says some members of the canceling group join in for fear of being canceled themselves, and that people should be able to like speak their minds, remain and not remain silent on the issues without fear of retribution. So this is like just showing how it restricts our freedom of speech because people are scared to express their opinion to like be canceled. Another question that comes to mind based on the quote by Abigail Adams, it says, "To the ladies, we are determined to foment a rebellion and will not hold ourselves down by any laws in which we have no voice or representation." So based on that quote, my question is, what rights have women gained since the past?
In response to that, many organizations like UN Women, Human Rights Watch, and Amnesty International, they emphasize like the strong link between the women's rights and their freedom, and they like highlight that the struggle for women's rights has always been there, and they've been granted like the freedom to participate equally in society. And so it's about making the decisions of their own lives, and they just need free from discrimination. But however, a CNN report stated that human rights groups are calling for the release of a Saudi woman who got arrested or sentenced to prison for 11 years because she was supporting a woman's right for the way she was dressed. So this kind of shows that how like women's rights have still not been 100% implemented in this country or in this world to be exact, and like our rights have never been fully gained, even though it's been years upon years.
A quote from Abraham Lincoln in Gettysburg Address is 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proportions that all men are created equal. This ties into my question, similar to Christians. What would be some examples from history that you can think of who use their rights of freedom?
Some people that I can think of can be Gandhi and Martin Luther King. In the article Gandhi's Integrity by Ali Bilgrami, he demonstrates that Gandhi is a very good example because he used his philosophy of nonviolence to influence the leaders and independence of India from Britain. And we can also look at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the article The Chicago Freedom Movement, Martin Luther King Jr. and Civil Rights Activism in the North by Tom Davis Adams. He summarized that the events Mr. King used for his freedom were to cause the leadership, and he influenced speech and peaceful protest to make an impact on his community, and his non-violent resistance to achieve the image of equality and freedom. Do you think your idea of freedom is influenced by societal expectations?
Yes, Valerie, I do believe that societal expectations do definitely influence our idea of freedom. So I agree with how society shapes what we see is acceptable. This in which impacts our sense of what it means to be free. An example of this might be, if society values money, we need that to be free. CNN has stated how high inflation made finances worse for 65% of Americans last year. In 2023, a Fed report showed that monthly budgets remained tight when more than half of adults didn't have money left for paying bills, finances, expenses. And more adults didn't even have money like to eat, not being able to cover their bills, pay their debts, and they had to skip medical care. So basically, having no money is a normal money is a normal living necessity related back to how society values money and how we have a feeling of needing money to have freedom. This is how societal expectations influence our idea of freedom. Thank you.